KTLK listeners, this is the Dino and Nelson Show. I'm Nelson. I'm here with Dino. Dino, we're going to be rocking through this next segment. We're going to be talking to Brian Liberto from First Team Real Estate in Newport Beach. This segment's brought to you by Title 365. Their vision and communication brings your real estate finance or purchase transactions status live. And I just love that, being able to go on your iPad, your iPhone, tap into the secure site and find out exactly what's going on with your transaction. So let me, listeners, invite you to learn a little bit more about Brian Liberto. Brian is out of First Team Real Estate, member of their Platinum Group, which is just reserved for the top 1% performers in their organization. Came from a corporate background. And I found this fascinating because he was in the working for a couple of Fortune 500 companies in some very difficult, right in the epicenter of difficult business environments in New York and in Washington, D.C. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about this, Brian, but welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So in all seriousness, you were in New York right before 9/11.
That's correct.
And you're on the 76th floor, is that correct?
That's right, I was.
In one of the Trade Center buildings.
Yes, I was. Yeah. And
so Brian, as I read the story, Dino, was working in the World Trade Center and up on the 76th floor, left to relocate to the West Coast, back to California where his roots were, but just 2 months before the 9/11 strike. And so you had friends, co-workers, colleagues that were
correct,
victimized.
Friends and family and co-workers. It was a pretty instrumental day in my life to make that move, and I'm glad I made it back to Orange County.
What was it like when you saw that flashpoint? You know, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but that flashpoint where the news came on, you're going, hold on, that's my building.
I can sit here and still get chills down my spine talking about this right now.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad to be back home.
Where were you when it happened?
I was actually in Beverly Hills, and I was watching it on TV and just looking at the planes go right through the towers, and it was just overwhelming. I don't even know what words came to mind to say about it.
Yeah, I know, and it hits an emotional nerve. I didn't mean to hit you cold with that.
With the curveball.
I just thought it was. I just thought it was fascinating.
I thought Dynamic Dino was going to give me some real estate questions here. My God,
Nelson always seems to do stuff like that, but that's fine. Hey, let's talk some real estate.
Hey, let's find out a little bit more about you. Now, your colleagues they describe you as intensely professional. What's that all about? Well,
it's about one thing. If you're in real estate, it's about one thing. It's about the close of escrow. The buyer, the seller, the realtor, the appraiser, or escrow. No one ever gets paid unless you close. So everyone knows the number one thing that I have on my wall is, what are we doing to close escrow today?
My favorite saying, best deal is a closed deal.
That's right.
Well, and like you heard us talk about in our opening segment, closing transactions is difficult. And we talk about this frequently from whatever sector. There's problems that are coming up at the last minute. It seems to be like we're just in the tower trying to navigate a lot of traffic, getting them on the runway. But transactions are a little more difficult today, aren't they?
Oh, my God. It's so easy. Everyone should get in real estate, let me tell you. It's the easiest thing ever.
All you do is fill out deposit slips, right?
I just DocuSign and get checks every day. It's real simple.
That's great. Now, you in the car, you said that in how many years you haven't lost one deal?
I haven't lost a deal in about 2.5 years.
But my favorite part was you had 3. They had signed cancellation.
I did. This summer or last month, I had 3 at signed cancellations. But I always find a way to get the deal done. Between a buyer and seller, if they want to buy it, listen, we'll fix that problem. Either credit or we'll fix the roof, fix the leak, whatever it is. We find a way to keep all parties on one page and get them to close escrow. Because you know what happens after that? We record, then we go party.
Then we go party.
Speaking of party, it was just your birthday, right?
Yeah, it was a great birthday.
Yeah, I saw some bill on Facebook of everything you bought.
Well, if you spend $8,000, you get a lot of friends.
Nice. Yeah. Geez, Dino will be a better friend. He'll be for a lot less than that. If you just tuned in, you're listening to KTLK AM 1150, the Dino and Nelson Show. We're here with Brian Liberto from First Team Real Estate in Newport Beach. This is brought to you by Title 365. Their vision and communication brings your real estate transaction live status. Brian, with First Team, why did you choose that organization?
Well, First Team is a good representation of selling all different types of property between your mid-range to your luxury products, all within Orange County. And with the name like that, I'm able to close more transactions over the last 2 years than any other brokerage.
On the First Team website, they talk something about eliminating overpriced and expired listings. What's that mean?
Well, I think when you look at the market and by eliminating expired listings, the pricing is pricing is probably the number one most important thing in the market today. If you overprice the home, you're not going to get many offers. If you underprice the home, you might get many offers, and then through supply demand 101, the prices usually go up.
And do you find that is a strategy that home sellers are bringing property to market at an under market price just so they can create this feeding frenzy? Or are they now getting greedy saying, all right, I see that the market's at $750,000. I'm going to offer my property at $8,000 and, go chumming.
I think each market's different. And that's why I always say, people say, what's your take on the market? Real estate street by street. But generally right now it's a seller's market. And generally sellers are getting a lot more for their property than they were before.
So how are you handling right now the overwhelming congestion in the marketplace?
Well, with all the demand in the marketplace and all very serious and strong buyers, what I do is I go out and knock on doors. I send out tons of mailers to help to find myself new listings. And what I'm doing in the market today in Newport Heights is I'm actually building 2 homes. I'm building 2 condos in Newport Heights and also a 5,000 square foot home. So I'm able to create more inventory by not only knocking on doors, but also building it myself.
Nice.
And with the development, is a new venture for you? Have you built properties before?
It is. I have some experience in it, but not a great deal. But this is going to be my first year, and I'll close 2 projects, maybe 3. It's really easy. Like I said, just like real estate, it's real easy and real fun. Everyone should do it. It's never complicated.
Never complicated. Listeners, you're listening to Dino and Nelson. You can reach us at 888-814-3335. We're with Brian Liberto at First Team Real Estate. Brian, Trulia came out and they talked about how it's now cheaper to buy than to rent across the top 100 cities in the U.S. Now, Newport, it's an affluent area. Newport Heights, where you're kind of specializing in, is still a pretty high-end area. Is it better to rent there, or is it better to buy?
Well, generally, you look at. I got asked this question last week. If you could put 20% down, and then your mortgage total monthly payment, your total PITI is equal to what your rent would be, you probably should buy the home. In some parts of Newport Beach, that will work. Newport Heights is one of those areas at some of the lower price points in the Dover and Newport Heights area, not at the non-view streets. You can wash a payment for your PITI, no problem.
The other aspect of it, though, that I'm sure people think about it, but they don't always equate it, is the tax write-off. Yep. The tax write-off you get with your home definitely saves you a lot more money in the long run.
We want to comment on that on the way back after these ads, but there's that threat that mortgage interest write-off may be taken away. Brian, I'd love for you to stay with us if you could for another segment. Home buyers, listen carefully. We've got Brian Liberto from First Team Real Estate in Newport Beach. He's having a problem like everybody else finding properties to sell, so he'll just go out and build it. It's perfect. He's bringing inventory to market. You can reach Dino and Nelson at 888-814-3335 or text the word refi to 313131. We'll be right back.
And as Brian says, from Wall Street to your street.
From Wall Street to your street.
In a chaotic real estate market, you want peace of mind when it comes to the home you're purchasing. Roadrunner Exterminating, a family-owned and operated company providing structural repairs, local treatments, and fumigation. Roadrunner Exterminating is a licensed, bonded, and insured expert in termite, pest control, and general contracting. For fast and efficient service, plus the peace of mind of knowing the condition of your new home, call Roadrunner Exterminating at 866-398-BUGS. That's 866-398-BUGS. Or on the web at roadrunnerexterminating.com. As always, mention the Dino and Nelson Show and get a free home inspection. 866-398-BUGS or roadrunnerexterminating.com. General Contractor License 922404. Nominal fee for escrow inspections.
Escrow Technologies has not only been a user of leading-edge technologies, but the actual developers of many leading-edge tools and processes. Our company has been a paperless operation since 2002. Every document is turned to a digital image, which has led the way to advancement in email communication and online status tracking. Give us a call, Escrow Technologies at 818-718-3020 or escrowtech.net. Escrow Technologies' history, people, experience, and tools have enabled us to advance the process of escrows of all types, including commercial and residential real estate. It also gives us specific advantages in REO and short sale escrows, of which we have extensive experience. Call Dino and Nelson's experts, Escrow Technologies, 818-718-3020. That's 818-718-3020 or escrowtech.net.
This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and finally, a reputable legal firm CDA Law Center, a nationally recognized nonprofit homeowner advocate, one of the most trusted firms in the country for helping consumers with their loan modification process. CDA's attorneys have decades of combined experience guiding their clients through the very complex and choppy waters of loan modification. Call 877-499-4435. 877-499-4435. Finally, honest and ethical advice to gain real results. Call CDA Law Center at 877-499-4435 or online at cdalawcenter.com.
Ever been frustrated during a real estate transaction, wondering just when you'll receive that phone call or status about your title insurance or escrow? With Title 365, consumers like you gain unprecedented access to the status of their title insurance and escrow transactions in real time. Title 365 was created with all the benefits you'd expect, so it's never been easier to download your documents, see what's outstanding, post a question, or connect with all parties online. Ask your realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 today, or visit Title365.com.
The Dino and Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Dino and Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
What do you do when your bank simply says no to your real estate purchase? Alliance Portfolio provides an answer. Yes. Alliance offers a range of innovative solutions. As a direct private equity finance company, every situation is unique. If your situation is rare and your opportunity is right, you need to call. When the bank says no, call Alliance Portfolio to hear yes. 800-363-1456. That's 800-363-1456. Logical decisions to execute a timely close. Call 800-363-1456 or go to allianceportfolio.com.
KTLK listeners, you're with Dino and Nelson. Dino, we're rocking today, and we've got Brian Liberto from First Team Real Estate. I have a feeling that each time I announce his last name that I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah, tell us how you say it.
No, it's Liberto. You're saying it
Liberto.
correctly.
All right. He butchers me. Well, I butcher every name that I say, so I wanted to get that name right. Brian Liberto from First Team Real Estate. This next segment is brought to you by our expert contributor, Alliance Portfolio. Dino, they're doing something really interesting. They're creating investment opportunities for people that don't necessarily have a lot of money but can come in with $3,000, $5,000 and invest in trust deeds or trust deed pools, mortgage pools, and be a part of the real estate. So Alliance Portfolio is bringing that investment opportunity to the marketplace. If you have questions about that, call Dino or Nelson at 888-814-3335. We'll tell you all about Alliance Portfolio. So, Brian, when we were breaking, we were talking about just some of the things that were impacting our marketplace. Mortgage interest, there has been some discussion. I don't know if you have insight to this, but some discussion that they may eliminate interest write-off, they being our government. Could that ever happen?
That'd be the worst thing they ever do. I mean, the market's sometimes depressed. I don't see any reason why they would ever do that. I could never see that going through.
And so with that, I mean, it would certainly stall out the mortgage industry and I would think impact, the housing market if all of a sudden there's not that incentive.
I'm not the big political guy. I really don't follow it that much. What is the purpose of it? Why would they? What are they trying to accomplish by it?
Well,
Save
I think
money?
That creates more taxable income, raises tax revenue, and does something that needs to be done in one respect, which is try and chunk away at this $16 trillion deficit that we've got this gorilla. And
and I've heard it many times, and I've just brushed it off. It is one of those thoughts is it could never happen. Like that would be the worst possible thing they could do.
I just couldn't see it. I mean, you got to think about how many jobs are created by every home that someone buys. I don't know the number. It was somewhere, say, 60 jobs per home that sells. So it creates jobs, creates income.
Well, mine and yours, to be specific.
Well, I mean, I would never want to be employed again. I mean, I'm retiring next week. So.
Well, sounds like you're already retired.
I kind of want to chime in on this because that would really hurt. What that'll do is people who have houses now that they're able to make their mortgage payments and they're able to make it, because of that deduction, some people will have trouble doing that now. So you could actually end up losing your house if they take away that tax deduction. It will affect the people on the margin, and you're going to see people losing their homes.
That's
again.
right. It'll create more short sales, and obviously it creates us jobs. We need that to go through. It's a very important, vital part of our economy. And I'm not a tax or CPA, but I mean the largest deduction I think is interest, property debt. Anyway, so.
And I've actually done deals with clients where we try and calculate out what their savings is going to be in order for them to forecast out what kind of a home they can buy and how it's going to affect their future life.
Exactly.
And we clearly do this with calculating the benefit of remaining a renter or becoming a homeowner with the interest write-off and what, just how they can manage their income. I don't think it has legs, but I just hear that conversationally amongst various economic reports and political reports, and I go, how could they do that? But we did see in August just a huge jump in activity. Sales activity's up. Appreciation is restoring itself. Business Week talked about the U.S. housing recovery gaining momentum, and that creates challenges in its own right.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think if you look at the momentum we've seen over the last 90 days, personally, in my little myopic world, is I had 9 escrows, and we're going to do about $25 million in sales just during the spring buyer season. I can't begin to tell you the momentum that we have right now.
In some of your buyers, are they struggling to get the transactions closed?
Like I said, real estate's just so easy. Everyone should get into it. No, I mean, every transaction, it's almost a heart surgery sometimes.
So what's an example?
Oh, I mean,
you give us this, actually, just because earlier you said that you had 3 cancellations and you were able to save them. After everybody else gave up, you saved them. What happened?
Well, everyone signed cancellation instructions, and I realized at the end of the day, the buyer wants to buy and the seller wants to sell and escrow wants to close. So I figure out what the problem is, and I address it. Either I provide a credit or fix the roof or convince both parties. You both want to buy the property. We're about $8,000 apart. Let's chop up the $4,000 difference and close.
So you mentioned fix the roof. I'm assuming you had a roof problem?
Oh, like I said.
Boy, that was insightful. I fixed the roof. I'm assuming you have a roof problem.
I'm bringing this
Way to dive deep, Dino.
I'm bringing this up because there have been moments in my career where it was something as simple as an argument and pride over who's going to win the fight.
People dig in.
And really all it was a roof repair.
Right.
And finally somebody stepped up and did it.
Right. I mean, I just call 3 roof inspectors, give me a bid for all 3. Okay, let's take a look at it. Let's get a roof certification, put the roof certification and a warranty on the property, and then close. All parties are happy. Everyone
You know what,
wins.
though? You say, I just did this, I just did that. But most realtors aren't even going to touch, they don't go that far. They don't try and make that.
Well, that's because when there's obstacles, there's opportunities, and that's how people make money.
And that's how you operate your business.
Every
that totally
day.
makes sense.
And
I love obstacles.
the average realtor just doesn't see that. That's why. What's the rule of thumb? 20% of the realtors do
1 to 2 deals.
Well, 80% of the realtors do that, and 20% of the realtors do 80% of the work.
That's correct. Yeah.
Listeners, if you just tuned in, you're with Dino and Nelson right here on KTLK AM 1150. Our show airs Saturdays from noon to 1. We're with my show host Dino and Brian Liberto from First Team Real Estate in Newport Beach. This segment brought to you by Alliance Portfolio, a direct private equity finance company providing investment options in trust deeds and mortgage pools. If you want to dive a little bit deeper and find out about what they offer, call Dino and Nelson at 888-814-3335. That's 888-814-3335. So we see the momentum building, Brian, and housing starts are up. The building community is separate from your building projects. The home builders are jumped back in the market. They're building at a rampant pace. Is it sustainable? Are we going to see this continue?
I think so. I really, the election is going to be a triggering point, but my personal opinion is not just for my self-interest. Is I think so. I really do. I see a lot of momentum with the appreciation going up in the homes and a lot of buyers in the market. If we can just have a steady incline every year, I think it'll be good.
And Brian, as far as that housing momentum goes, I've said it before. I'm the most optimistic guy, and I really feel like when things get going, I don't see any downside. But for the first time, I actually am a little bit scared. Do you think there's another bubble coming?
I really don't, because like I said, when you could put down 20% and your total monthly payment is equal to the same home you could rent, I think we're at a stabilized market.
Well, it sure seems to be that way. And what shocks me is where all these people are coming in with money. Like, where are they getting it? I mean, everybody I've spoken to over the last 5 years has just been down and out. How are we going to save our home? And all of a sudden, out of the blue, it's like people are just coming in with massive amount of money.
Well, especially like with a lot of the loan programs you have out there with FHA and VA, that enables more homeowners to get in the market, so then we can in return sell more homes, and that helps all of us here.
And this is what we talked about in one of the previous segments. If you just tuned in, the FHA program is super flexible. It offers the 3.5% low down payment. It offers qualifying ratios that are typically much more stringent. Yeah. Sure. So up to 55% of your income can go to your new house payment. Interest rates that are down at, I think you said you priced out a transaction at 3.25%. So, I mean, you look at the mix of ingredients, and I think it does make more economic sense to own your home than to stay as a renter with these kind of terms.
And a couple other things with FHA, too, that a lot of people don't know is you can actually get into units, up to 4 units with an FHA deal, and only put 3.5% down.
That's great.
And then you can have three of the units basically paying your mortgage.
So that's perfect for a single guy. He could live in one of the units and put renters in the other, or live in one of the units and then do vacation rentals in the 3 other units on a year-round basis. And his return on investment is very high. In fact, I've done 2 of those transactions this summer.
Yeah, that really is a good deal. And it's one of those things that just people don't think about, because normally if you're going to buy units, you got to put down 20, 25%.
Brian, I want you to comment on this before we close out this segment, and that is one of your frustrations that you voiced when we were driving up is about the easy entry into the industry, whether it's on the finance side or on the mortgage side, but there's a lot of quote-unquote knuckleheads in the industry, and you are a very astute businessman who's been trained in the corporate environment. You have those disciplines that you bring to the market. What do you do with these people out here that are quote-unquote your competitors?
Well, I think at the end of the day, you got to remember you still have to work with everyone, and at the end of the day, you're never going to close escrow unless you get them on your team. So what I do is I kind of just basically work with them, educate them, help them understand what problems they're doing in escrow or what they're doing when they're writing the offer.
So you do their job for them?
Well, I coach them. We got to remember one thing. If we don't close, no one gets paid. So I just put them on the team.
And so you put that coach's cap on.
It's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah. Listeners, you're with Dino and Nelson and Brian Liberto from First Team Real Estate in Newport Beach. If you are interested in the greater Newport area, we want to invite you to call us at 888-814-3335. This segment has been brought to you by Alliance Portfolio, that's providing investment opportunities for people to get into this market that may not be ready to buy but still want to take advantage of a strong return on their investment. Alliance Portfolio. Contact us at 888-814-3335 or text the word refi to 313131.
And I'd like to add a little bit to that too, actually, because I've worked with them many times over, and I have invested in trust deeds. It's a great investment tool. Basically, you put money in, and your collateral is a home. It's what the banks do. Only now you're doing it as an individual, and Alliance Portfolio is doing it where they're gathering small amounts of money and putting it together, so you don't have to have a lot of money to do it. It's worth the phone call. Call us at 888-814-3335.
Escrow Technologies has not only been a